What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Game of the Week show. I'm your host, Matt Southwell, and joining me this week is Ashley Dye and Dan Gilbert.
Hi, Matt.
How is...
Hi.
You right?
Well, you
always do Dan first.
I know. Did that confuse you?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that, just,
Where's
you
the
know...
continuity?
Yeah, because we're always full of continuity here on the Game of the Week show.
Yeah.
Well, I just figured, we're getting close to Christmas, so I would...
Spice it up.
I was feeling festive towards you. I'll let you go first for once.
Yay. But now we're good. Really good.
Good. Right, we'll get straight on with the show. Lots to talk about this week. But firstly, anyone out there that doesn't know what the Game of the Week show is, it is three friends sitting around this table every Monday to discuss the latest news topics in the video game industry. We'll then also talk about this week's big game releases and give you our opinions on them and make a pick of which is the Game of the Week. So going straight on with the first item this week, one that I'm sure everyone was excited to see. There was a new Batman Arkham Knight gameplay trailer. It was released as part of the VGAs, and it looked pretty awesome, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm huge Batman series fan. Still got to finish off the last game, but yeah, it just looks amazing. There was between the first and the second, there wasn't too many differences, but this has got definitely a bit more depth and function to it.
You're starting to see kind of exactly maybe a bit more of what the story is going to entail. Obviously, we already knew that Scarecrow was the lead villain.
Yeah.
And I really like Scarecrow because it gives you that whole I can't think of the word now, kind of the psychological edge on it, which is cool because it means they can basically do anything and it's not weird. It's just
Scarecrow.
Yeah. Like was it the first game where you had those side missions where there was like the giant Scarecrow with a hand and you had to run around the castle? That was cool. And the other big thing, Dan, which was really cool in this, was we got to see the Batmobile in action.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got to see more of it without Batman actually controlling it fully. So it's like, it shows how the two are meant to work in tandem a bit more. So like the original gameplay stuff that we saw like ages back pretty much showed you driving around in it.
Yeah, whereas
so like
the combat
these two
side
are working as like two separate elements at times.
Yeah, I can't wait for this game. Basically, it's
same.
Still a long way away though. June 2nd is the release, so
be here before you know it, mate.
I know. There's plenty more games to come in the interim, but for anyone that hasn't seen the trailer, I would have put a small segment of it over here, but not too much. Otherwise, we'll get shut down for copyright. So I've already been told off a couple of times for copyright. But I'll put a link in the description so you can go and watch it somewhere. It's really good, and I can't wait for this game. We'll move on then to the second item, Pokemon. Everyone's favourite pocket game has sold 3 million in 3 days. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Half of those sales came in Japan, and this hasn't actually even come out in Europe yet. So that's... To me, that sounds like a lot of units.
Yeah, it's good going.
It,
for a sale of a game, regardless of how someone may think of it.
Do you have slightly different opinions?
I'm staying quiet. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Okay, well,
I'm
not a Pokemon fan.
I hate Pokemon.
You can be wrong about things. It's fine. Do you have any interest in these games still, Dan? I mean, I loved it as a kid.
Yeah, it's like the last ones I got were like Gold and Silver and the Game Boy Color, like the original Game Boy Color, not any sort of like reiteration of it that may have come since.
Yeah, no, I don't even think I played that much. I played the original, like Red, Blue, and Yellow is all I ever really played, and Pokemon Stadium on the N64, which was amazing because you could look at how excited he is when we chat about this.
He's like, it's bubbling, isn't it?
It is. You put the yellow version in the rumble pack and it put your cross saves.
It's like awesome. You're talking Japanese right now. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Pikachu, Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Mewtwo, Onix.
Pikachu I've heard of. Anything else?
Okay.
Nah, not a clue. I've just never understood the cartoon, never understood the games. I just don't.
I'm sure you're not the only person.
Yeah.
It only sold 3 million. It's not like, was there 6 billion people in the world?
Yeah.
So the majority still agree with you, obviously.
Obviously.
But no, it's really good going.
That's a nice way of looking at it.
But I'm impressed that Pokemon is still such a big deal. And its longevity is It's impressive. I'll admit I don't quite understand why there's all different ones now. Like for me, it's always about the original 150, or maybe 151 if you include Mew as well. But we'll move on now.
Can we?
Yeah,
all right. Yeah.
I know you don't really enjoy Pokemon.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the one that I know you're a lot more interested in.
A bit.
Telltales.
Yeah. Still not much more. But
they've announced their release dates for both Tales of Borderlands and Game of Thrones. Tales of Borderlands is actually out now if you live in the US. However, if you're in Europe, you're going to have to wait until Wednesday, so not too long, December 3rd. And the Game of Thrones games are out Tuesday and Wednesday this week, respectively, in the US and Europe.
Did you just say Game of Thrones?
Game of Phones? Maybe.
Game of Phones?
Yeah. I'm not going back to find out. Hello? Hello?
I want to sit on the iron phone.
Oh, you try to be professional when you're working with morons. I don't know. Can't even say the word properly. But I know you guys aren't hugely excited in these games, so we've talked about them in recent weeks with them being announced, so we won't spend a lot of time. People can go back and watch our other videos about them.
You've got to be a bit of a Telltales fan to really be interested in
I'm excited for both of these games. And for anyone out there that's maybe concerned, I didn't really like Borderlands that much, from everything I'm reading, you can still go and enjoy this game. You don't have to have played the other Borderlands.
Yeah.
I never. Did either of you ever get into Borderlands at all?
I've got Borderlands 2. I've not played much of it though.
Yeah, no, they seem like good games, but I'm the same as you. I just could never. I play like 2 hours, 3 hours, and then just kind of stopped.
Yeah, I was
not because they were bad, just because
it was never one that I was like, can't wait to get home and play it. It wasn't one of those sort of games, really. No. But
they're good games, and I'm sure these Telltale games are going to be really good. Anyway, so
yeah,
Christmas come early for fans of interactive movies, as it were. We'll move on. So this will excite you because I know how much you like free stuff, Ash.
I do.
It's the best price. And did you buy Assassin's Creed Unity?
I got Assassin's Creed Unity, yes.
Okay, that's good. Well, everyone out there is probably aware that Assassin's Creed Unity has had a couple of problems, hasn't it, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't personally come across anything, but then again, I haven't been playing it in a while because I've heard it's been buggy. So I've been waiting for stuff to get fixed. But there's been a lot of like frame rate issues and other bugs that have just like broken people's games, like the falling through the floor.
Yeah.
The actual game world itself has been a big one.
The problem is though, it's like, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, getting stuck in walls and things like that. I know is very common.
Yeah, I mean, the way the internet is though, only takes one person to have a problem, and then everyone's talking about that problem. Yeah. I'd be interested to know how many people are experiencing these problems. Yeah. I mean, I can't comment because mine is actually still in its cellophane wrapping. Not because I don't want to play it, just because there was GTA that I had to play, and now I've
Far Cry
gone on to Far Cry, and Far Cry is pretty much going to take me up until Christmas.
So in fact, yours is on the shelf.
Yeah.
But
like, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, the news. For anyone that has played Assassin's Creed Unity, or anyone that owns Assassin's Creed Unity, Ubisoft's way of apologising for these problems is that you'll be able to get the upcoming DLC Dead Kings for free, which that's a nice touch. I think that's pretty good. But for those people out there that have already paid money for the season pass through the gold edition, was it Dan?
That was one version of it. I think you could have bought it separately as well, but like their special day one, collector's edition.
If you bought the season pass basically at release, then their way of apologising to you, because obviously they can't give you free DLC because you've already paid for it, you're going to be able to get a free game from Ubisoft, any from the list of The Crew, Far Cry 4, Watch Dogs, Black Flag, Rayman Legends, or Just Dance 2015. So, free game, Just Dance.
It's a pretty good deal. Well, Just Dance maybe not so much, but
that's what I'd get. Well, I've got the others. Well, I've got The Crew, but
but yeah, it's definitely something that I think is a good deal. It's a good touch.
It's really nice. I mean, you don't see studios often give away not a brand new game like Far Cry and The Crew.
No, it's like it's usually like, here's one from like last year or so, which is what sort of like Black Flag is.
Yeah,
that's the sort of category that you generally see. It's like one that's been out a while. We're not really confident of shifting that many more units.
Yeah.
So it's like, you might as well have it.
Yeah, I suppose they can't give away just Black Flag because people who have bought Unity have probably bought Black Flag.
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, they could have just kept it at Black Flag, Rayman Legends, and Just Dance. They didn't have to include the other games. So, really nice touch from Ubisoft, and I suppose they've just got to control it because they've had so much bad press.
They've not had a great year.
You know, because there's been talk of issues of Far Cry 4 online as well. So, anything to improve their PR, I suppose, because it's not going well for them. But more on the free game side, actually. We've got the PlayStation Plus games and the Games with Gold games for December. They've been announced. We'll go through the PlayStation ones first, because I know that's the ones that you guys will both be interested in. PS4, first up, we've got Injustice Gods Among Us and Secret Ponchos.
I love that name.
It's a Wild West shooter. Not quite of the same budget as Red Dead Redemption, but looks pretty fun nonetheless. And obviously, Injustice Gods Among Us is the DC beat 'em up game. So either of those games jump out as interesting for you?
Yeah, probably the Injustice Gods Among Us.
Yeah, I would look at that because that's quite a big budget game, isn't it?
Yeah, last year it came out.
Yeah, it was last year. But I'll probably look at that because I didn't get it, and I'm intrigued by the Secret Ponchos just because of the title. So no, take a look.
That's good.
And at the end of the day, they're free, so
exactly.
Get them there and put them in your library for future.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's obviously the Vita games as well. We've got Final Horizon, which is a tower defense game. If you're interested in those kind of games, it might be the game for you. I've never really kind of understood tower defense games personally. Right?
Excuse me.
Sorry. Titan Attacks is the arcade shooter, again for Vita. Basically looks like Space Invaders, which is what every game's always going to be referenced to it's an arcade kind of shooter. And then finally on PS3, Deadly Premonition, which is a horror game where you're trying to solve a murder.
I quite like the sound of this, you know.
Yeah?
I do, yeah. I do like the sound of that.
Did you ever play Heavy Rain?
Yeah, I played Heavy Rain, Hitman as well, Murdered Soul Suspects recently on the PS4.
Yeah.
That was similar sort of thing.
You like
LA Noire.
So you like your detective games?
Yeah, I've got quite a few of them actually thinking about it.
So there you go, you might have to dust off the PS3.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a look.
Don't know if mine still works. And the big game, I think this is the best one of the lot, is the Hitman Trilogy HD.
Yes.
It's the trio of the old school Hitman games, all fully refined in high definition.
Yeah.
Hitman, you guys both played at some point?
Yeah.
Never really played it?
Never picked it
Hitman
up.
3? Was there a Hitman 3?
Yeah, there was a Hitman.
Yeah, it must have been Hitman 3 that I had on the PS3 more recently, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Hitman's really good games. There was the latest release, was it Blood Money, I think was one of the best ones. Obviously you don't remember all the titles, but they're really good fun. For a game that involves in theory, very little action. Because the idea is that you get in and get out, hit your target.
Stealth.
Yeah.
But they've always been really good, and that would be the one that I would pick from the PlayStation lineup. I don't know what your opinions are.
It's actually a good month for free games.
I'd say, considering that like in the past there's been quite a lot of complaints from people saying that PlayStation haven't been quite pulling it out as much as they should be.
Yeah.
I'd say this month.
Yeah,
it's kind of, I think, what people expect.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation Plus to be on a monthly basis, and I think it's because we've rolled into that period now for like PS4, where it's been out a year.
Yeah.
So there is an actual back catalogue of the higher end,
the non-indie games,
not necessarily indies.
Yeah.
That's what the majority of people moan about, is that they get too many indie games. But
a lot.
I mean, some of them are really good. You find like a lot of really good gems.
Oh
in
yeah,
there.
no, I'm not denying that in the slightest.
But to the general public who might not be aware of those sort of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, Gods Among Us is a AAA title, and I think it's possibly the first one to come to PlayStation Plus for the PS4.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but
I can't think of another off the top of my head.
But okay, we'll move on to the Xbox ones.
Yep.
Xbox One, you're going to be getting Worms Battlegrounds, which I understand from Dan is a pretty fun game.
Yeah, I've got it for PS4 obviously, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It's Worms. It's Worms, but
I used to love Worms like
I
as a
did.
kid on PC.
It's a little bit
on the PC.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
upgraded from like what you would have played, and just it's got different worm types and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
But it's still got the usual chaotic, destructive environment, all of that.
Can you still use exploding sheeps?
Yes.
Sheeps. Yeah. You know, bah. Didn't really need to do that. Wish I didn't. But
You know, there's no S on the end of sheep in the plural sense. It's sheep.
fuck off. Xbox 360. The Raven. Another crime game, detective game.
Yeah.
And then the big one.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
SSX for
Yeah.
the 360. Ash,
Love SSX.
you're a big snowboarding enthusiast and a big fan of SSX.
I don't think there's a snowboarding game that I've not purchased over the years.
Okay, how does the latest SSX rank?
The
among
latest SSX was amazing, like really, really good on the PS3. I played, platinumed it on there. Amazing game, really good online content as well in terms of beating friends' scores, friends' times. The game played well, looked well. There was a lot of depth to it, loads of options with different runs. It was good, really good, and the soundtrack on the game is amazing.
Wow,
all
there you go.
all in all, amazing.
Should
game.
get a job as spokesperson for EA.
Really, really good. Much better than like the Shaun White game that came out. That was terrible.
Well, Shaun White was basically Tony Hawk, but on snowboards, wasn't it?
It was terrible.
Do you remember? I remember all those games because basically after the Tony Hawks, they did all of them. They did the Matt Hoffman one as well, didn't they?
Oh,
for
yeah,
BMX,
yeah.
which I actually thought was really good. I really liked the Matt Hoffman ones, but everyone preferred the was it Dave Mirra? That was the BMX one. Am I just speaking gibberish now? Do you guys
I
not
don't
remember
know who
this?
he is.
No, I remember Matt Hoffman, but that's it.
Yeah, but there we go. No, I
SSX,
I
good
agree.
game.
That's a really good game.
It's
And
an amazing game.
there's a lot of hours to be spent there if you want it.
There are.
So yeah, a lot of good games there. Happy Christmas, I suppose, for Microsoft and Sony. It must be said. That's pretty much it for the news. So we will take a quick break and then move on to the game releases for this week. Okay, welcome back, and now it's that time of the show where we will talk about this week's game releases. So guys, a little bit quieter than the last couple of weeks, which is good for our
nice.
wallets.
Yeah, it's nice just to have some time to play some games.
Yeah, well,
Focus on one or two games rather than trying to play 6 in a week.
my backlog is ridiculous. Like, we talked about Far Cry, but I've still got Assassin's Creed still in its seal.
Yeah,
I
same.
barely played 2 hours of Sunset. I've played the first mission of Halo 1, so I've still got the rest of that game, and then the next 3 to do. It's just so many games.
And once Christmas comes, I'm gonna have Sunset and the Halo games to play as well.
Yeah, we're going back home to Ireland with Sarah over Christmas, and I'm genuinely wondering how she'll react to me taking my console with me.
Lift up your boxes. Oh, how did that get in there?
Thank you for the subtle fat insult as well. My boxes are so wide they would cover the console. Anyway, well, moving on with the game releases for this week.
Yeah.
The big one this week, first up, is Little Big Planet 3. That was actually initially out last week as well, but the European release did get delayed.
Yeah.
Not quite sure why it got delayed over here, but not in the US, but for whatever reason it did. Little Big Planet, it's obviously, most people are familiar with it. It's kind of side-scrolling, what I'd call probably like a 2.5D platformer. It's got the 2D look, but it has the depth there as well. Really good fun. Number 1 and 2 I've played. I know you've played it, Ash.
I played a bit.
Borrowed
Borrowed off you.
Have you?
No, it's like it just never grasped me as something I
appealed.
wanted.
It's a good fun game. It's nice. It's nice to play.
Yeah, I never really played them to completion.
Yeah,
They're kind of games that you just pick up, and I enjoyed for what they were. So this one, number 3, is looked to build on those. The reviews I'm reading at the moment is its optimism is sometimes a little bit of its own downfall because it's a bit buggy in places, which we can't really criticise it too much because it's not on its own.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually been talking about how many games have been buggy over this last period of time, which is disappointing. But
I think one thing that is a bit of a sales thing for the Little Big Planet series is the building of the levels,
Yes.
which is obviously a quite a exclusive thing for, well, not exclusive, but it's
a big appeal for it.
It is, yeah, definitely.
The fact that it's not just the beauty of a community game like that is that there are a lot of intelligent people, but also people with a lot of spare time on their hands.
Yeah.
You know, the communities in games can be sometimes what make the games, and some of the levels you'll see are amazing. Sometimes the reality is when you see these sorts of games is most people end up just making levels from like old games. So like you'll be able to play like, you know, Mario 1 for Little Big Planet and stuff like that. But like you said, it's really good, and that does enable the longevity of the game.
It pretty much, as long as users create content for it, makes it never ending.
It does. It does.
If you're someone who wants to play every single like level that's created by someone,
it just adds another dimension to the game, doesn't it? And it's just another selling power for what it offers.
Yeah. So is it one that you're gonna pick up, or at some point?
I want to. It's not going to be any time this year for the remainder of the year because of what I've got on the go at the moment. But yeah, I do like the Little Big Planet games and
Blick.
Little Big.
I'm picking up on everything now after that.
After the sheep's comment.
Yeah.
It's the episode where we can't get away with flobbing anymore.
Well, next up then, Geometry Wars 3.
This is Matt's game.
This is my game.
Yeah.
Twin stick shooter in a 3D world. Like you said, it looks very much like, well, you didn't say it, but you implied it. It looks very much like Resogun. And,
I thought you said butt plug.
There was a world that looked a bit like a butt plug, yes.
Inside joke there.
I could put it up so people can see.
What the bump?
Yeah. That's that'll be
side by side comparison.
Yeah, I'll wait till after 9 o'clock to upload the show, so we're safe from water. But no, it looks a lot of fun, and
it does.
I can't wait to spend some time playing this. It's my kind of game, and it's been reviewing really well. Obviously, because it actually looks really good as well.
It does look good, yeah, it does. It's a clever game. Yeah.
Only £15 or $14.99 as well, so pretty good value.
Yeah.
If you don't want to buy it, the chances are at some point it's the kind of game that will end up on PlayStation Plus eventually.
I think so. I think you're right.
It's that type of game. Not right away, but at some point in the future it probably will. But
yeah.
I can't wait to play that one. Moving on then, Motorcycle Club. Now, this is a game I hadn't heard anything of until I saw that it was in the PSN store for a bargain price of £54.99.
Wow.
Pounds.
Wow.
So this is what gets me about digital games. They want you to go digital. This isn't a rant. This is just an observation.
No.
Why are they more expensive than what they said the RRPs were going to be on games over here? They were supposed to be £50, yeah? Or $49.99. Because they used to be $39.99, but then for the new gen they moved them up.
Yeah.
So why are games sometimes more? And US sports games, why don't you know? Tell me the answer, damn it. I'm looking at you, Dan. It's all your fault.
The thing that annoys me, I would actually maybe sometimes pay it for convenience if they sent you the original game as well. Because I like to have the game, I like to have the box, the game, the physical, I can hold in my hand, on the shelf. You know.
What I'd really like is if, when you buy the physical game, if you were to get a code for the download game as well. Because the convenience of, like I said, being able to switch between games would be... That's... Basically, I don't want to get my ass off the sofa. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But that's just too expensive.
It is. I downloaded a game when I first got my PS4 a year ago, and
Because you couldn't bother to go to the shop.
Well, no, it's because it was. I think I got my.
Oh, it was Christmas Day.
It was Christmas, yeah. And so I think I downloaded like NBA 2K14 or something else. Yeah.
But no. Anyway, Motorcycle Club.
Motorcycle Club.
It's a game I hadn't heard of. It basically looks like Drive Club on bikes, but not as good.
Not as good.
No.
Nah, it doesn't look as good.
We were watching the trailer before.
It just looks uninspiring. It really does.
It does look a bit boring, doesn't it?
It looks boring. It sounds boring.
It was the engine is very monotone, isn't it? You sound like you're on the limit almost straight away.
Yeah.
You have the initial acceleration and then you're just on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know bikes kind of do sound like that, to some extent, but it just sounded a bit painful. And
It's uninspiring, yeah, definitely.
I don't think it's a game that I'll be picking up this week. Let's put it that way.
No, same.
A couple more games here, more the kind of network games. We'll just go through them very quickly. Is Never Alone, which is they describe it as an atmospheric puzzle platformer.
It's definitely atmospheric, yeah.
This is the one where you play as was an Inuit and a white fox. Is that correct?
You're like a duo. I think you can switch between characters, and yeah, it doesn't look that.
I thought the artwork looked really kind of minimalistic and pretty.
The description of it is a puzzle platformer that explores the culture and folklore of Alaskan natives.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's all in Eskimo, it's Inuit language. Can't say Eskimo, you're not allowed, are you?
No.
Okay, it's all in their
language.
Yeah.
It's foreign, basically. Well, it is.
It's a subtitled game.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to read, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So there you go. For our many viewers in Alaska, there's a game there for you to check out. Is that racist? It's not racist.
Yeah, because they have PS4s in their igloos.
That's racist. Move on to the.
Let's move on.
Tales from Borderlands. Obviously, is another game out. Out this week in the US. Obviously, next week in that. We won't talk about that because we just spoke about that in the news. Next up is Thomas Was Alone, which is it looks interesting. It's an indie platformer game with a focus on friendship and jumping. Now, the way this differs from like a normal platformer, from what I could see, is that you control different types of rectangular and square blocks
instead of characters.
Which I admit is a genius move on the developer's part, because that is so much easier to design.
It is. It's like, how can we save ourselves money
and time?
Yeah.
I can't draw a character. Don't worry, we'll just chuck a square in there.
Yeah.
But actually, no, it looks like one of those kind of fun puzzle games that I could actually see myself losing a lot of hours on.
Yeah, and like in the trailer and so on, it's got a voiceover by Danny Wallace. He actually does voiceover work throughout the entire game. So all that narration stuff is there throughout.
It's a nice touch.
Who's Danny Wallace?
He's a comedian.
Just laugh and smile like you know who
yeah. That's what I was doing. Yeah. And then it's like, no one would have heard me say that to you.
Okay,
so.
yeah.
But no, that looks like quite a good game. One that I might check out, depending on what the deal are. If it's on PlayStation Plus, maybe, or something like that. And then the final game this week, the big one, Monopoly Plus. Not just Monopoly. It's Monopoly for your PlayStation. Nothing else is needed to say. It's the greatest board game of all time. Is it not?
Is this? It's it's all right. We've got it on the shelf behind Dan there.
Yeah, it's the Guernsey edition.
What is the? Okay, with this game, is it playing against other people online?
Yeah.
Or can you do?
You can do single player as well.
I'm sure you can do local.
You can local co-op as well.
Local co-op.
It's Monopoly, but on your PlayStation.
Okay.
What is there to grasp?
I just want to know if the function is there,
not
the capability.
Yeah, you can have the traditional top-down kind of like 2D view of the board,
yeah.
Or you can go 3D, and you can go around the board, and it will grow as you develop your investments.
He's sounding very sarcastic, isn't he?
And is the game? Does it have all your different? You know how you have so many different Monopoly editions. Can you choose which one you have? Can you play Monopoly Simpsons?
I think it's just traditional edition.
I believe it's just the one.
I'll be honest.
It would involve
I did not
extra
spend
licensing. I'm assuming
it's just a traditional. From what I could tell, I didn't spend hours researching this game. If I'm honest,
you should have done, because it needs to have Monopoly.
To be honest, my research is literally just that.
Copy paste from Wikipedia. So I just go onto the stores and stuff. So that's there were a couple of other smaller games as well, but I like to kind of limit it to a certain number of games.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just going to be here. Those are the top 7 anyway. Let's put it that way. So from that list, guys, obviously, like I said, a lot quieter than the last couple of weeks. But what would be your pick for this week?
I think it's got to be Little Big Planet 3, based on just you know, it's got the history of you know it's a good game. It's well built upon. There's a lot of depth to the game. Yeah, I mean it's probably the biggest title this week, but for good reason.
Yeah, it's definitely the only AAA that I could see this week. So
Geometry Wars.
Yeah.
Simply because it's got a
good man.
It's got pick up and playability for me more than anything.
Yeah, it looks.
It's like none of those games like grasp me as a major one that I'm going to sink loads and loads of hours in.
Yeah.
But I'm more likely to just, if I want 10 minutes, 15, 20 hour, depending on how long you get dragged into it.
Down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
Yeah. That feels like it would appeal to me more.
It's one of those games, and I really want to play it. And
it's one of those games that just breaks up. You know, when you're spending like 8 hours, 10 hours doing, you know, a Far Cry or a GTA session or something. It's one of those games where you can just sort of play for half an hour in between just to break up.
Have you thought about like breaking up your gaming sessions by, you know, maybe standing up and
not gaming? I'm going to break up this gaming session by gaming.
Yeah. Definitely.
I know exactly what you mean. It's a game where if you want to just play it and kind of not really have to think, you can do so.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of depth there. If you want to try and go for like the elite high score, like challenge leaderboards, it's one of those games that's just, it will appeal to anyone for any length of time.
Yes.
I think, and that's why it would also be my pick if you hadn't already gathered that.
I realised. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of replayability there.
So there we go. That's pretty much it for this week. We managed to keep it a bit shorter than last week, which is good. More like the kind of length that we want to be at. So to anyone that actually did stick to the end of last week's show, thank you very much. If you didn't watch it, I want to swear at them, and then I was like, no, I won't swear at them. But yeah. So if you have enjoyed this video anyway, please do give it a like, subscribe to the channel, so you can keep up to date with all of our weekly ramblings about video games. If you want to speak to us about any of the games this week, Little Big Planet, Geometry Wars, or any of the news topics, please leave a comment down below and we will respond to you. Ashley, Dan,
cheers, Matt.
Thank you very much for your time. And everyone out there, we will see you next Monday.